Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. This reading will focus on increasing our intuitive ability and enhancing our intuitive ability. If this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Cancer. September 1st to the 15th, 2021 Cancer. Increasing and enhancing our intuitive abilities. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. If we have Taurus within our natal chart, that's going to be coming through very powerfully as at our rooted self. And then we have the Empress. So sticking to who we are really starts to create what we want within this world, and that's going to be really cool. We have the Six of Water, and we have the Guardian, which is the star in the an Aquarius energy in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So if we have Aquarius within our inner chart, that's going to be coming through very powerfully within our inner self. But there's a sense of being guarded, being guided during this time, and I really love this. We have the Nine of Swords. Interesting. Nightmares start coming forward. It's like, can I, can't I? And then we have the Three of Cups. Now, the Three of Cups is learning who we can count on and who we can't. Learning about the positive voices inside our heads that come through and, help us and guide us. And the negative ones that come through that try to destroy us. And so that's going to be very important here. Our heart is going to be playing a bit of a trick on us, so do be mindful. We then have the Knight of Pentacles, which is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, enhancing this Taurus energy right here. And the Five of Swords. We're going to see ourselves more victorious than we have been seeing ourselves when it comes to embracing our intuition, when it comes to moving ourselves forward. But that's because we're doing a lot of emotional cleansing during this time. Now let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Ooh, goodness. The Lovers just fell right out. Now this is going to be Gemini energy. If we're born on the cusp with Gemini, we have to be a little bit mindful of the quote-unquote flightiness of Gemini. It can just be kind of like the ADHD tendencies of a Gemini to flit from one thing to another to another. This is going to be a sense here of also really being mindful of what our hearts are guiding us to, because our hearts are going to be guiding us to a lot of wound mates instead of soul mates during this time. And what Spirit means by wound mates is that they're people who perpetuate the wounds that we have grown up in, perpetuate the abusive caregiver, perpetuate the, feelings of inferiority that we have, perpetuate the wounds that we have, instead of helping us heal those wounds or helping us find the strength within ourselves to heal these wounds. And that's going to be something that can be very overwhelming for us during this time. As we embrace the lovers, as we look at what we love, we also have to be very mindful of differentiating between love and lust during this time. And also understanding that there can be somebody who comes across really, really strong, comes across very into us, very into what we're doing, very into how we're progressing, but they're really going to be into them and using us for their own pleasure, but also their own progression. And that's going to be something to be mindful of. It moves us then to our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, play. Play is so important, Cancer. We tend to forget that play is important, especially as we get older. But what play is, it's a lightening of our heart, right? It's the embrace of our heart chakra, but it's also a lightening of the stress that we carry. No human being can play unless they feel safe. And that's why you'll see, one of the signs of abuse in children is, do they not play? Do they separate themselves? We see that with adults. Like when an adult says, I haven't had this good a time, or I haven't laughed like this in years. And they mean it. You can tell by the look in their eyes, by the weight of their words. They mean this. Did they not feel safe enough to play? Do we not feel safe enough to play? This is going to be a time where we need to make safe spaces for us to be able to play. Because if we're in the constant fight or flight mode, there is no time to play. There is no time to laugh. There's no time to fully enjoy. And that's going to be something that's really going to be rather important. And it also correlates to the lovers. Is this lust, or is this idea of love? And there's going to be air quotes around this idea of love, having us get to a place where we can get out of our own heads through orgasm, through whatever, to be able to, lessen the stress that is around us, because our hearts are heavy and we are water sign energies. We are of our hearts, and our hearts need to be light. They just do. In order to be a good Cancer, our hearts need to be light, and we have to be mindful of this energy that can make our hearts feel light, but it's a momentary release. It's a momentary increase of dopamines that doesn't actually help us, but can actually confuse things and make things a little bit more intense. It moves us to the Hierophant. And the Hierophant here is very much saying, what are your traditions? What is important to you? How do you need to guide yourself forward? Here, Cancer, what is it that you want? What is it that you desire? Because the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the Pope. And the Pope, in medieval times, he was the ruler of the rulers. He told the emperors what to do, the kings what to do. Everybody listened to the Pope. And so here, this is our innate connection with the universe, with divinity, with whatever you want to call it. And it's saying here, how do you move yourself forward? What is it that you want? What is so intrinsically important to you, Cancer, that if you went against it, you go against who you fundamentally are and the reasons why you're on this earth? It brings us to the Empress. And why I smiled when I saw these two together is that you are creating something. But it has to come through the authenticity of yourself and what you desire. And there's the sense of birthing something forward into the world. Now, it can be actual childbirth, yes, but it's the birthing forth of creativity, of dreams and desires and hopes and wishes, and creating something profound and beautiful, creating something more than we ever thought we could create by breaking down the doors and opening ourselves to so much more. And it brings us to the Guardian. It brings us to the incarnation of ourselves that is the watcher and the guardian and the connector with the animals and with spirit and with what we desire, to say, this is me. This is where I stand and this is what I want. It connects us with our dreams and our wishes because it connects us with the star in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But it lets us know that we are not here alone. There is so much more to us than has ever met the eye. Can we embrace this? Can we embrace a reconnect to the earth, to the power of creation, to the power of ourselves, to the ocean that flows through our veins, which is our blood, from our heart? That's why our heart needs to be light Cancer. Always. Because we are represented by water, you know? And that's what we are made up of. And that's what our blood is. It's an ocean within us. How are we connecting? How are we gardening ourselves? How are we moving ourselves forward? The Six of Cups is very much saying here, it's time for a change. You know, it's time to embrace what we love and what we desire, but not letting the past move us to our present. Not letting the I'll show them, or the I can't believe this person said this to me, guide us forward in a way we don't need to be anymore. The Six of Cups, the Six of Water, as we dive deep, as we start to nourish ourselves, is saying, let the past go. Let the wounds heal. Because the Nine of Swords, it's worry, doubt, and fear. And we can live in the Nine of Swords. I mean, people do. People live in the Nine of Swords for their whole entire lives. They live in the Eight of Swords. They live in fear and in hurt and in disappointment and feeling trapped and feeling overwhelmed. And I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't live my life the way that I need to. And what the Nine of Swords is doing here is saying, what is keeping your heart caged from being intuitive with yourself? Because Cancer, once you open up the doors, I mean, Spirit won't stop talking to you. That can get annoying in a different way. But what we're looking here is to connect. Having a ritual. Being able to say, I say this prayer, or I say this poem, or I say this thing, to be able to connect. That opens up the door. And then I close it. I say this poem, I say this prayer, to be able to close the door. Whatever works for you. What we do here is we say, I look at the nightmares. I look at the fears. I look at the overthinking and the overanalyzing. And I say, I see you. I see you self-sabotaging. I see you trying to make me doubt myself. I see the mind and the heart fighting with each other. Not working together, but fighting with each other. Because for me, the Three of Cups is always that person that was supposed to celebrate us, but couldn't. That person that was supposed to stand by our side, but just didn't. It's that caregiver, that parent who walked out, you know, or who mocked us, made fun of us, beat us down. The doubts come in because this voice keeps on coming through our heads. This voice of, I can't, instead of, oh, yes, I can. And then it's starting to shift what we pay attention to. Not the voice that always demeaned us and demoralized us, but the voice that always picked us up, that always carried us forward, that always connected with us. And that's going to be the game changer here. How do we connect? Who are the people that stood in our corner? Do we overlook them? Do we celebrate them the way that they need to be celebrated? Do we celebrate us the way that we need to be celebrated? For saying, I want more from this life than meets the eye. I want to connect more deeply, more honestly, more openly than I imagined I could. And the heart, there's a lightening of the heart as we slowly and steadily move forward to what is prosperous and sacred to us, to what eases our burden, to what guides us forward, to what loves us and sees us. And as we love and see ourselves, it's the game changer here. Slowly and steadily moving towards more. Moving towards who we are. Embracing the bounty of what we have planted. Embracing the abundance of where we get to be. We are defenders of what we value as much as money, if not money itself. And this can lead us to great success, but it's going to take time to build. And it moves us to the Five of Swords. It's like, I'm done fighting with the past. I get to stand in my present. And that's going to be the main thing that we have during this time, is that the past comes in and wants to take away our glory. We see it, we see ourselves needing to stand true to who we are. But we see the past coming in time and time again and saying, no, you can't. And we can see us very easily being kind of swayed by the lust of attention, the lust of, excitement, being able to play, being able to let down our guards. And what Spirit is saying is, why can't you do that with your own heart, Cancer, during this time? And that's a heavy question, because if you can, then you're the winner. If you can, then nothing that's thrown at you will be overbearing. It might be overbearing in that instant, but you'll be able to get your footing. You'll be able to gain your understanding. You'll be able to see it more openly and more strongly for yourself and say, I can handle this. If I can live through this, I can live through anything. And mean it absolutely honestly. Because if we can live through the Nine of Swords, we can live through anything. We can go through it and come out stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's where we're headed. That's what we're guarding ourselves towards. That's why we're connecting with the earth and with ourselves and with what we desire from life. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Queen of Cups. Is then going to the other extreme of just fully diving into the emotions. Well, actually, it's not the other extreme. It's continuing with the extreme of just fully diving into the emotions. Now, this could be self-sabotage on our point because the heart is intense and it's carrying a lot of baggage. I would highly recommend meditating around the heart, sitting outside, going outside for a walk, connecting with the heart. The Queen of Cups. Here, we're represented by the Queen of Cups in the minor arcana, by the Chariot in the major arcana. We need to see the blessing that guides us forward, that leads us, that moves us to greatness and to more. And if we can embrace that, we can embrace our lives and our desires and what we need and what we want. But we should be very mindful of other people manipulating our hearts and our desires for their own needs and their own means. It leads us then to our subconscious chakra energy, which is the universal light. This is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. This is saying the light shines in us and through us. Let it shine bright, Cancer. Let yourself be inspired and be inspiring. It moves us then to our subconscious rooted message, which is the Death card. The dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. I am changing, and I am embracing the power of that change. Nothing is going to be the same. We have to mourn the change. As we see ourselves transforming, we have to honor and mourn that transformation, because sometimes, it's just even the simple act of transforming. The caterpillar may not want to stay a caterpillar, he may want to fly and be the butterfly, but the act of changing is hard and tiresome and takes work and preparation. And so to be able to understand that and respect that, that's going to be so important for us. Because then it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, now I'm just overreacting. It's going to be, no, I'm changing. And I'm connecting with my heart in a deeper, more profound way. And that's going to be the game changer here for me. It moves us to our subconscious inner message. And that's the moon. Then the moon here is equivalent to the Empress. And as we embrace the moon, as we embrace what we desire and what we want and who we are, we start to see ourselves more and more truly. We start to sing our song, claim our throne, bring forward into the world what is needed. And it's the song of who we are and what we desire, what we want and what we need, of where we stand. And it brings us then to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the Fool. It's like, am I brave enough to see the trauma and the drama and to say, you don't get to rule me? To take what I need and to start forward on my journey of intuitive power, of personal understanding, of breaking down barriers, of connection, and say, this is me. This is what I desire. This is what I want. This is what I need. Because remember, every single hero first starts off as a fool. Always. That's just the truth. And so as we move forward, as we embrace our journey, know that we will be foolish along the way, we will stumble, we will make mistakes, and that's okay. Because in order to be the hero of our story, it can't always be smooth sailing. It's kind of like, think of watching a movie where the person just always does everything right. The hero is so heroically wonderful that it's boring. And so our lives aren't boring. We have to embrace the hero's journey. And it starts off with being foolish. And then it moves us to our subconscious inner self. Not inner self, public self. And that's the Nine of Swords coming through again. That worry, that doubt, that fear, the nightmares. It's like, is this going to rule my life? Is the fear going to trump my intuitive abilities? Trump my belief within myself? Move me from what my heart truly desires? Is my fear going to rule me? Or am I going to look that fear dead in the eye and say, I see you, and I am not owned by you? Because that's the goal for this time here, Cancer. Okay, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace our power our focus and our greatness, because fear will not define us anymore. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer.